are going to be overviewing the starter kit that we are going to use throughout the course, and we're going to go over what its features are, what it's supposed to do, and the architecture behind it so that you'll know what primary classes are responsible for what, and the principal communication paths between them. Let's dive in. So the first thing we are going to do is open up our starter kit zip, which is attached to this module. If you go ahead and open that up, we're going to extract that into whatever location you choose. Now, once that is done, I recommend that you put this under version control, or at least keep some sort of backups as you follow along module by module, so that anything goes wrong, you haven't lost your work, basically. So I'm using Git here to version my project, and as you can see, I've added in a Git ignore here in order to make sure that only the correct things are tracked under version control. So next up, we want to go ahead and launch up the U project from this zip file. Now, this particular project is using Unreal 4.23, and that's what I recommend you use to follow along with this course. Let's play along in the game and see what this project is supposed to do, how it's supposed to work, before we dive into the architecture. So I'm going to play in a new editor window, and you'll notice that we have a quest list up at the top left here. Go to the village as the first quest, and we're going to be following the quest markers, and these quest markers are these red firefly type things over here down the path. So we're going to follow these fireflies down the path until we arrive at the village. Now, in total, there are 4 of these markers, and when we arrive in the village, it completes off the check item and gives us the next item in the quest, which is to deliver the pumpkins to the miller. You can see that there are pumpkins such as these scattered around the scene. We can grab them by left-clicking and picking them up and using a physics grabber to do that. Then we go to the next firefly location, which is the mill, and we drop off the pumpkins in here, and you can see it gives us a progress bar. I'm just going to skip through to having completed this quest. So this is my 5th and final pumpkin. I go and deliver it into this miller's area, and we check off the final item, and we get a new quest, which is to find the axe. The axe is over here, surrounded by more red fireflies. I can go and pull it out of this trunk, and now I need to use this item to chop down the old tree, which I just do by hitting it with the axe. And then you'll notice that the tree collapses down, and you'll see it's replaced by this trunk. That was the last step in our quest list, and so that is the end of our little demo here. So what is the architecture of this demo? Well, it all kind of stems out of the game mode, which is often the case in Unreal. So let's go and have a look at the game mode. First of all, so it's in the content folder in your content browser, and we're going to go down into Core and open up BP main game mode. And when that opens up, I'm going to take the tab and dock it to the main window. And then I'd like to draw your attention to over in the right-hand details pane, and make sure you have the BP main game mode self selected in the components pane. The details on the right should show you the classes that we're set up to spawn, and one of these is the BP first-person character. Sure enough, that is what we are spawning here from the game mode. That's quite a crucial part of things because the first-person character actually has a grabber component, which is something we've created in order to allow the character to pick up things like pumpkins and axes. So if we go and open up the BP first-person character, that's also in Content Core in the content browser. So if we open that up, you can see that childed to the camera and the components tab, there is a grabber component, and that's a custom component. So what else does the game mode do for us? One of the things it does is spawn a UMG widget. So if we have a look at the BP main game mode once more and go to our root event graph, which you can find either in the My Blueprints tab or I've got the tab open, then we'll see that on begin play, what's happening here is we are creating a main display widget and attaching it to the current viewport. And that main display widget is the quest list that we saw while playing the demo. The game mode also spawns the quest manager. It's responsible for the spawning of an actor called quest manager. We can find the quest manager by going to content, quests, and the BP quest manager. Just a straightforward blueprint actor class. And its main responsibility is storing the list of quests and the state of each of these quests. That's done through a struct called the quest info, or f quest info. It has multiple of these, an array of these, and they store the information about each quest, such as its name and how complete it is. So if we have a look at this quest struct, also in the content browser, content quests, Then we have the F quest info. Let's go ahead and open that up. And you can see that the struct has a name, an ID for the quest, which is of name type. The name is actually of string type. The progress, which is an integer, and the progress total, which is the total number we want the progress to get to for this quest to be complete. Then, slightly aside from these things, we have the triggers. What are the triggers? If we go back to our content browser and have a look at content quests, completion triggers folder, you can see that there are a few of these in the project. There's a collect trigger, and this is triggered, for example, when we brought all the pumpkins to the miller, when we bring a number of items into a volume. There is the pickup trigger, which is what was attached to the axe. If we pick up the axe, then the pickup trigger is triggered. And we have the volume trigger, which is just if we enter a certain volume as the player, then that is triggered. And the point of these is that they complete the quests or complete part of a quest. So if you need to pick up 5 items, then you need 5 triggers to complete that quest. So then the main display also queries the quest manager to get the state and display the quest list as it currently stands. How many of these items have been completed and what is the current item that the player is being told to go and do. So those are all the main classes here in our starter kit, and you now understand the purpose of this demo and how the demo works. So hopefully you'll feel comfortable diving in and out of these classes throughout this course.